the protest gives Trump the ability to pressure Iran for that kind of change in behavior at its weakest point. Externally, because as a consequences of the 12 days war, decimation of IRGC leadership and command structure, the destruction of so-called axis of resistance since 7th of October by Israel, catastrophic economic situation. I mean, you can't find a point in last 47 years that Islamic Republic has been weaker than now. So I think option one is to get what it wants through talks, and what it wants from the talks is what basically didn't get and therefore led to the attacks in summer. A stop of enrichment on Iranian soil. So nuclear enrichment should be completely stopped inside Iran. And Iranian missile project has to be limited to certain level. For example, the range of missiles should not be more than 300-400 kilometers. I don't remember exact range, so that Israel is not in danger. So if Iran accepts these two conditions, or at least the nuclear one, I think Trump is willing to not act militarily and let that be the case. And of course, this would also pave the way for Iran might want removal of sanctions, some of it at least. And we have seen how Trump is willing to do such things in the case of Syria. An ex-Al-Qaeda leader becomes the new, darling, if you like, in the White House, on the, with the discourse that we have to give them the chance. That the government of Iran is killing Iranian protesters in hundreds, if not thousands. That Iranians on the ground do need and want international support. And that support will not only help them, but in the longer run helps everyone in the region and even in the West. In terms of U.S. Role, U.S. is acting on its own interest. The protesters obviously mentioned, but I don't think they are intervening necessarily out of desire to protect human rights as such. But nevertheless, whatever their intention might be, any weakening of repressive force of the Iranian regime is definitely welcomed by actual protesters on the ground and most Iranians. Trump's primary aim is to change the behavior of the Iranian regime, not necessarily the regime itself. And therefore, it will has used the pressure coming from the protesters internally, and the pressure it puts on Iranian leadership psychologically by making the threat of intervening if they keep killing the protesters, to get the concessions it wants from Iran. And these concessions primarily are about Iran's nuclear project, which US wants to be practically seized in terms of enrichment inside Iran, as well as limiting the range of Iran's missiles so that Israel is not in danger. And if these aims achieved, I doubt that Trump would care much about the kind of quite frightening number of protesters being killed. The other option, apart from taking out the supreme leader, is attacking IRGC and Basij militia forces bases, so that the regime's ability to basically carry out the mass killing of the protesters is reduced.